Hi everybody, thank you for joining the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III, joined by my main man, Hall of Fame trainer and commentator, Teddy Atlas. We're here today from our hometown, Staten Island, New York, in a special gym, the Berry Homes Gym, a gym founded by my father and his foundation to keep kids out of the streets and give them a place to come train and better themselves. We're here to give you a fight plan for David Benavidez and David Morrell, two unbeaten light heavyweight prospects, two unbeaten prospects in their prime. A fight I'm very excited for, a fight I know you're excited for. What do you expect with this one?
Well, I'm going to be a genius here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to guarantee you who's going to win. David. How's that? Let's go. I mean, you can't get better than that. David's winning, guys. I know you get on me sometimes. I got the wrong guy, but I got the right guy, David. No, listen, all kidding aside, how can you not like this fight and look forward to this fight? Because you could make an argument that they could have waited for it to become even bigger. Really, because money, everybody's looking for more money, more. You got Canelo fighting Crawford now, that's going to be great, but that's different weights and, different dynamics there, and the money, forget about, probably fill up this whole place here. And you could have made the argument that both guys could have waited just a little longer to make this, because it's a dangerous fight. But that's why it's so great for us. It is a dangerous fight. I mean, I think there's probably more danger for Benavidez, believe it or not, than Morrell, only because Morrell, both guys good punchers, both guys like to be aggressive, especially Benavidez, but especially that Morrell, I think, is the better pure puncher, maybe the better pure puncher. But Benavidez is the guy who's a busier guy, the guy who brings more pressure on a constant level, even though they like to both pressure you, and the guy who has, I think, the faster hands. So there's a lot to decipher from these, to figure out, to analyze, to try to, to just try to figure out who's got the edge. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be explosive. And I don't think you need Teddy Atlas to tell you that. You got two aggressive guys that both have not learned how to lose yet. And like the old guys would say, somebody's, gotta go. You ready to go find out and show the people how we think it will go and what to look out for as far as the dangers for each guy?
I'm ready.
You ready to do that?
Let's do it.
You ready to be my sparring partner?
I am.
Yeah? All right. I go to the body, that long, lean body. Let's go. Beauty before age. Where are you, buddy?
All right, David Morrell, the undefeated Southpaw Cuban. How does he become the interim light heavyweight champion of the world?
Let me grab your hat, put my thinking hat on. Well, the thing in this fight that is so interesting is both guys like to be the boss. They both like to be aggressive. So you don't have to be a genius, I don't think, in the sweet science here to figure out somebody's going to get a chance to counterpunch. When both guys are aggressive, you're going to get opportunities for countering. But you also have to look at the tape and see the habits of both guys. These guys, in a lot of ways, have a lot of similarities. They do. They're both aggressive. They're both strong. They both, like I said, like to be the boss, and they both like to go to the body. They both like to get inside, for the most part, especially Benavidez. He likes to get inside and tear you up, bang, bang, both sides of the body. He likes to do that. And he likes to use the uppercut, mix it in. He does a real good job, I noticed, of really just transitioning from body to head with punches, does Benavidez, and also of mixing in the uppercut, boom, seamlessly in the middle of combinations. So that's the backdrop. As far as Morrell now, Morrell has to find something that he can do to land in this fight on a consistent basis. And one of those things that I think he could find is, we'll jump right to a counterpunch opportunity. And the best counterpunch for a southpaw is usually the right hook. Why? Well, because when you usually orthodox fighter, he's not used to seeing that punch come from that angle. It's hard to pick it up with the peripheral. We do a little joke with the movie, the Rocky movie. Yeah, I can't help it. I like to do these little movie analogies sometimes. Where remember Mickey in the Rocky movie,
Of course.
where he was saying, I think it was the second Rocky, where he said, "No, you can't fight no more because your peripheral's bad, your eye's bad. You can't." He goes, "I'm fine." And so Mickey goes like this: "All right, tell me when you see and then tell me when you see it. Tell me." And he goes, "Oh, I see that little baby now. He would have crashed in the whole side of your face. Club Lang would have crashed it, because he saw it too late." I think that Morrell can look for the right hook, being a southpaw, look for a way to land it. And I think I found a way he can land it. Benavidez, who likes, as we said, he likes to be aggressive. They both do in spots, and more so Benavidez. He will load up every once in a while with a big left hook, but he will also look to land a big right hand sometimes. And the reason I'm going to pick the right hand for this setup is because against the southpaw, usually the orthodox fighter likes to look for a right hand because they can be the southpaw killer. Right? You've heard me say that quite a few times on doing ESPN and the podcast, whatever else that I'm doing. So I'll be Morrell, southpaw position. And if he can entice Mr. Benavidez to throw a big right hand, but he can entice him to throw it from too far away by stepping out, get him to reach a little bit with it. If he can do that, if he can just give a little ground, again, opportunities for counterpunches because both guys are aggressive. And they can get a little anxious or over anxious with their punches. So if he just gives a little ground at the right time, gets him to bang, right hook. I don't know if he's going to keep his left hand up as well as my son. My son was trained by me, so of course he's going to keep that right hand up perfect. But you're hoping that maybe it drops a little bit. But either way, you're stepping out, bang! You got an opportunity for that counter right hook. Counter opportunities against aggressive fighters. They make sense. And they can do more than make sense. They can make lights go on and off. They can win fights. Another thing that I think Morrell can do to turn this fight in his favor, a good fight, a tough fight, like I said already. But I said earlier, they both have similarities in strengths and in flaws. First of all, they both like to be aggressive when they can. They're both good body punchers. They both are good punchers, obviously. I thought Morrell might have a little pure power, tiny bit advantage, but I think Benavidez has faster hands. But they both like to cover. They like to put the earmuffs on. And I think that even though when you cover, you put the earmuffs on, is how you like to call it, you go into that peekaboo thing, you can block punches, but you can also create problems for yourself because you can be stationary where a guy can put punches together and find an opening. And they take it to another level. I noticed both of them, and maybe more so Benavidez, while they're blocking, they move their hands around a little bit, and I think in a way that can really be hazardous for them, where you're Benavidez, I'm Morrell in the southpaw position, where when you throw at his head, he goes up high a little bit. And sometimes he'll move his hands around, block a little bit, go up high. And when he goes up high, he can leave the bottom open. You can set him up a little bit. But I want to find one specific opportunity, and I think I might have found one watching tape. And where it is I noticed that Benavidez will take his right hand and go all the way over across his body to his left side to block something on this side. Yeah, that's not good sometimes because you're leaving nobody home on the right side, home alone. You know what happens home alone? A lot of problems home alone, right? So you throw the right hook, get him to go over here, bump, bump, just a setup punch. Sometimes the good fighters, that's what they do. They just throw a throwaway punch, just a throwaway punch. Kind of like a hunter, when he's hunting, where he's hunting, let's say, pheasant. The pheasant is in there, it's in the bush, and he's in there somewhere. So you shoot a throwaway shot, boom, just to flush him out, and then you got him. So again, the throwaway shot, boom, boom, set up the left hand. Get his hand to move over a little bit like this, leave this open, and close the show with a left hand. Bang.
All right, we just went over the keys of victory for David Morrell. Now we're going to get into the keys of victory for David Benavidez. What does the monster David Benavidez have to do to remain undefeated?
More than just, because, monsters do that, and, sometimes that's enough. But against other guy who can be a monster, a guy who comes from the Cuban national team, Cuban Olympic team, where they put out so many great fighters, from that little island, you got to do more than raw, and Benavidez can do more than raw. And he can throw a really good uppercut. He throws a lot of good shots. Maybe his best shot is the left hook to the liver, to the body. He does that really beautifully. But he also throws a pretty damn good uppercut. And we talked about before, that both guys have similarities for strengths and for some flaws, some possible defensive liabilities, where they both like to cover up and get into that peekaboo. I think that this time I'm going to show you where maybe you can take advantage of that, or Benavidez, I'll be Benavidez, where he can take advantage of you, Morrell, going into that cover-up. I notice when Morrell covers up and puts those earmuffs on, he likes to bend low. Yeah, he likes to really get down nice and low, sometimes covered up like that. I think that can be a problem, where when he does that, if he does it from a little too far out, which I've seen him do once or twice. He goes, what you can do is just throw that jab to blunt, bang, and just pot shot him. You remember that saying, the shooting a fish in a barrel? It's kind of easy to shoot a fish in a barrel. He's in a barrel. He's not in a stream. He can't swim away. Well, it's kind of like almost you're putting yourself in a barrel. Yeah. Bang! You just catch him with that uppercut. And again, Benavidez has a really good uppercut. If he does that, you like fried fish?
I don't.
No. Either does Morrell. All right, let's take another look, or let's take a look at another way that Benavidez can get the job done and get the win. We already showed one. Here's another one. We talked about the similarities, that both guys are aggressive and that there would be opportunities for both guys to counter. And we already showed that on the other side, where there would be opportunity for Morrell. That show, it's only fair. We showed one for Morrell. We got to treat both sides fairly. That show how Benavidez can set up a counter. And I think he can. He can take advantage of where, if he's watched tape and he's prepared, and I know him and his father do a good job of preparing and getting a fight plan. I've seen where Morrell, the southpaw that you'll be, where he loves to throw that left hand to the body. Sometimes he might reach a little bit with it, but more importantly, he drops the right hand. He doesn't keep that up. So, counterpunch opportunity with a guy being maybe a little bit overly aggressive or recklessly aggressive. It's great to be aggressive if you can do it effectively, not in a way that is reckless. I think there's a spot where maybe you use the jab, you set a trap. Set a trap for a nice counter. I'm Benavidez. I use the jab. I step out. I get him. I entice him to throw that left hand to the body. Pop. I step out. Bang! Counter left hook. He kept his right hand up because he's my son and he was taught to keep his right hand up. But I saw Morrell drop it a couple times. So, boom, zap, bam! Left hook counter. He does that. And you know what? That's a good way to end a fight and end a show. Good job.
All right, we already had a nice thorough breakdown and a fight plan for the fight. Now let's get into the prediction time. David Benavidez, almost a 2-1 favorite. David Morrell, plus 140. Who do you like in this one?
All right, this is the kind of fight, before I get to the prediction, we said it to, I think I said it pretty consistently throughout the breakdowns of these fight plans, which I hope that people enjoy to help them make a pick. And just, you don't have to bet, just to help you enjoy the fight. give you things to look for, you know. But that's the purpose of this. What I was talking about during the whole breakdown, that both guys like to be aggressive. There's gonna be opportunities where if one guy is just a little less buttoned up, they can get caught. That there is an opportunity for that under bet here, that knockout bet. There is an opportunity here. Both tough guys, both experienced guys, amateurs, pros. You know, people say, oh, Teddy, but Morrell only has, you know, X amount of pro fights, and Benavidez got a lot more pro fights. He had plenty of amateur fights in that great Cuban national team. He had plenty, I don't know exactly, it could have been 200, whatever it was. He had plenty of them. So he's experienced, he's stepping up. They're both stepping up in competition, I think, for the most part, obviously, in this fight. There is opportunities for both guys to catch the other guys again, because they're both aggressive. If somebody gets just a little reckless, a little over-aggressive. I think that if you're liking Morrell, I think that Morrell, the chances are for him to win, he's got to hurt Benavidez. See, I don't think he's going to outwork Benavidez. I think Benavidez's work level, punch numbers, if you will, are higher. I don't think he's getting outworked. But you can beat a guy without outworking him. You can hurt him. You can land the cleaner, you know, more effective punches, you know, because that's what the criterion of pro boxing is. Who lands the cleaner, more effective punches, or who's more efficient? Again, if you like Morrell, then I tell you, take a little play on the knockout. Maybe take a little play on the under, because I think your man is going to have to land something to hurt the busier Benavidez. He ain't out busying him. If that's such a word, I don't know if it is. He ain't outworking him. That ain't happening, I don't think. But he can out-hurt him. If he can hurt him, he can win the fight. And obviously he can slow down the work rate of Benavidez, even without knocking him out. So I think it's worth a play, especially if you're a guy who's on the side of Morrell. It's worth thinking about a small little play, you know, on the under or on the knockout. At the end of the day, you want my side. The side that I'm taking is I'm going to take Benavidez. I'm saying that he's going to win the fight, probably by decision. He's going to be busier, and he's going to be tightened up, buttoned up enough not to leave himself open to the power of the southpaw Morrell. That is the way, for me, Morrell wins, that he hurts him. So I'm going to go with Benavidez and say that he's not going to get caught, and if he does, he won't get caught two big ones in a row. He's tough, he's got a good chin, he'll survive it, but at the end of the day, he'll be able, his offense mixed in with enough defense will get the job done for him. The busier man, Mr. Benavidez, gets a decision. There it is. You like it? Good. You don't? What are you going to do? You don't have to bet. Just watch.